Welcome back, Dynasty Lovers, to another episode of the Dynasty Interview Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Adrian, with my co-host,
Scott Martin.
Well, Scotty, that wasn't the greatest NFL draft from our high-end talent standpoint, but we still got a very good show for you today where we do a 2-round, single QB, half-point PPR mock draft. So I know a lot of you are starting your drafts off very early, but so hopefully give you some insight, help you out a little bit, and maybe name a few sleepers to sneak into that second round, because that's where I think where the sneaky value sort of tunes up as far as this group goes.
Yeah, I'm ready to get right into it because I need a whole show to vent on my Tennessee Titans just draft catastrophe. So let's just get right into it.
Here we go. So do you want the one?
I want 1-1. You need to pick it 2. Easy? Yep, you need to pick it 2.
Okay. It's kind of fitting because my orphan league that I inherited, I get the 1-2, and it's a tough decision. But I think 1-1's pretty easy. So who are you taking?
I don't know that 1-1 is set for everybody. I think it got a lot closer than you think. I think a lot of people are going to take, somebody else here. I think that, so obviously at 1-1, Breece Hall to me is a generational talent. Didn't care where he went. He was going to be my top pick. I think his talent supersedes everything, and he's special. He's Adrian Peterson special. So Breece Hall, 1-1 for me. Lock it down.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely the landing spot is not ideal.
Nope.
You're going to have a young Michael Carter who was he a 4th-round pick last year? So it's not terrible draft capital for a running back, but he showed some promise last year. It's not like he was an absolute scrub. We liked him fairly decent coming out when we scouted his film the year before. But I think where Breece Hall sort of capitalizes this, he's going to be the 3rd-down back. I did not particularly like Michael Carter's receiving ability, so I think Breece Hall is definitely going to take the 3rd-down work, and I think he's also a better 1st and 2nd-down running back then. So I see it more of maybe you're looking at a 60-40 split then between those two.
Yeah, I think that
Breece Hall should have the lion's share and a much improved offense then too.
Yeah, I think the offense is going to be pretty dynamic. I think you're going to see Zach Wilson take a big step up, and I think you're going to see Breece Hall eventually take over the backfield by the end of the year. Not completely, but I think a 60-40 split for him is going to be just fine. He's going to get the volume that he needs. I think, definitely Michael Carter's stock took a huge hit because Breece Hall is going to be able to do everything he does better. So he eventually is just going to chew away. And I see that Michael Carter is just going to sort of be that spell back.
Yeah, and if you look at they're all a San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan-based offense then. They all came over in about this time last year then, or 2 years ago then. And they used multiple backs. So I think they like to have multiple backs in that system then. So, but I think Breece Hall still get the lion's share then. So on to number 2. Like I said, this is a very tough decision. So prior to the draft, people were mocking Kenneth Walker to the 2nd overall pick then. I personally was going wide receiver, but I know you were thinking more of Kenneth Walker with the 2nd pick here. But I think with Kenneth Walker's landing spot, I think it dropped him down significantly, not out of the 1st round by any means then, but definitely drops him down a good bit because the clarity is not all there that you're looking at for some of these other players.
Well, before you give your pick then, what do you mean the landing spot's not good? His landing spot is great.
It's not perfect.
We'll talk
it's
about great,
Walker
man.
When the time calls. I won't go great. We'll get to Kenneth Walker when his name is called here.
All right.
But here, I think the safer pick is one of these wide receivers. And I'm going with the top wide receiver on my film study, top wide receiver on my board, and that was Garrett Wilson then. Garrett Wilson of Ohio State. I'm picking him at number 2 here. He obviously was in the 1st round. And he's going to the Jets offense. So we're drafting 2 Jets, 1-2 here. So
we're destined to fail.
We're destined to fail. But like I said, Garrett Wilson was my favorite wide receiver pre-draft. I think like I said, I usually like having a quarterback that's established, but I liked what I saw from Zach Wilson when we did his film study last year. He was our second overall quarterback. Obviously, it wasn't a very good first season. He also had the injury, which sort of hindered development, but I think he's going to have a lot of weapons. I think he's going to take a big step forward. And we're going to see that year 2 bump with Zach Wilson. And I think if 2 Wilsons, Wilson and Wilson, compare it all together, then you could see a very long, productive relationship between these 2 guys. And I think it's a lot safer pick here. And like I said, he's my top wide receiver overall, so that's why I'm taking Garrett Wilson here at 1-2.
Now, I don't hate you taking Garrett Wilson there because I like him a lot, and he would be the next guy off my board at number 3. But Kenneth Walker just solidified if you're a team that needs a running back at all. I mean, if you're loaded at running back, sure, you definitely take the receiver. You take Garrett Wilson, you don't bat an eye. Because these are 2 very close players here. But the fact of the matter is, most of the people drafting at 2 do not have a loaded running back roster. And Kenneth Walker just got a great landing spot. What's there? Chris Carson? Who's injured?
Are you picking Kenneth Walker at 1-3 then?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. We can talk about Kenneth Walker then.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker. Who's there? Chris Carson, who's injured and might not play again? They're not sure he's going to bounce back and be able to play. If he does come back, I don't know that he's going to be able to be trustworthy or reliable enough to take many carries. He's getting up there in age too. So I'm not worried about Chris Carson. Are you banking that Rashad Penny's going to come out and be what he looked like he could be at the end of the year? Well, he's tried to do that for the last how many years he's been in the league. So, and all that aside, let's say Penny does get some carries. Sure, fine. Kenneth Walker's the best guy on that roster at the running back position by a lot, and it's not close. And they got no quarterback. They're going to run the ball every other play. It's going to be just absolute nothing but running the football all the time. And I don't know why in the world we would be downing Kenneth Walker. His landing spot's awesome, man. Why do you hate it?
So I hate it because I was a Rashad Penny owner for many years. And I saw Pete Carroll not care anything about draft capital. I saw Pete Carroll favor the guy that he likes at the time and just go with him. Even though the superior talent on that Seahawks team was Rashad Penny, and then we saw that at the end of last year. Penny was arguably the best back in all of football to close out the year.
Well, he couldn't stay healthy and it never looked like it again, so it's not Pete Carroll's fault.
Well, he was showing it before he got injured. And then when he finally got healthy again here, he showed it big time. And they go out, they re-up Penny for another year, and they go out and draft Kenneth Walker here. Does this mean Penny's here only for a year? Not necessarily. We saw Carson re-up then afterwards when Rashad Penny was signed.
They have no long-term investment in anyone else at the running back position.
Well, they didn't have a long-term investment in Chris Carson when they signed Rashad Penny.
I don't care what happened in the past. The fact of the matter is, this Walker dude's better than either of those guys.
And you said they're going to be a bad team. They're going to be down a lot. They're going to have to throw. They're not going to be able to run the ball constantly. Pete Carroll's going to still run the ball 50% of the time, but that offensive line has never been really good. I don't think they're going to be amazing as far as the passing game either. Who's their quarterback now? Geno Smith?
Drew Lock.
Is he going to move the ball? We saw him have very good receivers in Denver. Is he going to be able to surprise us with very good receivers in the Seahawks?
No, they're going to say we're going to run the ball. We don't want him to throw it deep and throw picks every play.
Well, wait, what do you think that Denver was doing?
That's why he went to the bench.
Good running backs.
The fact of the matter is, I want to see where's Walker at on your board then.
So what I said is I don't see Walker as a safe play. Like I said, it's more. It's not due to Walker's talent. Walker's a very good running back, but I didn't see any receiving ability in college or any receiving use. So, like I said, there's some reports that he's a very good receiver out of the backfield. It just wasn't in the offense, which is fine. That's not the end of the world. And I also been burned by Pete Carroll before. So I see Kenneth Walker as not a very safe option comparative to these other wide receivers. So I drop him down pretty far.
Give me the spot. Tell me the spot.
Scotty's going to go.
And I'm going to tell you you're crazy.
Yeah. Number 9.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Number 9.
Absolutely dumb.
I see a lot of safer players than Chris Carson. I mean, not Chris Carson, than Kenneth Walker. A lot of safer players or higher upside players than Kenneth Walker.
Well, I hope every other person that's drafting thinks just like you.
You can hope that, man, but...
I can tell you one thing. We got some leagues together, and we got some picks that are going to be hitting right around there, and we're going to be taking Kenneth Walker. And we're just going to... That's how it's going to be.
And you see this with Kenneth Walker's situation, you see that a lot with a lot of other running backs then too. So, like other than Breece Hall, I see no obvious clear path to success at running back. And a lot depends on what happens in year 1, year 2. And if they don't make that break, it's going to be a tough sledding going forward. But so I rather take wide receivers. So at 1-4, I'm taking Treylon Burks, the A.J. Brown replacement out of Arkansas, Titans' first-round pick. Got this pick for A.J. Brown. And Daniel Jeremiah was saying that his comp for A.J. Brown was Treylon Burks, which I don't necessarily see, but I see A.J. Brown as a better receiver, and I see Treylon Burks as more of a dynamic asset as far as Swiss Army knife / type players then. But Treylon Burks, I think he has one of the clearest paths to being the number 1 receiver on his team. We liked his tape a lot then. He was tied for the 2nd receiver overall as far as film score then with Jameson Williams then. And I'm drafting Treylon Burks here at 1-4.
Yep, that's a guy on my board. The fact of the matter is, Treylon Burks is an excellent receiver. He's going to have a lot of pressure on him to be the guy. But if there was any guy in this draft that could fill that role and be that guy to sort of take on that massive volume and sort of shoulder the team, it would be this guy. So I have full confidence in Treylon Burks. I'm hoping that he falls down to me a couple spots in some of my drafts. But he's number 4 for me. That's pretty solid, pretty easy there.
Yeah, I think it's like I said. I just feel. I think he's just clearer path, safer, longer career than 2. And in Dynasty, you should have these wide receivers almost twice as long as you have these running backs. So who are you taking at 1-5 then?
At 1-5, Jameson Williams. The tape doesn't lie. This dude is an elite athlete. They don't have the quarterback there now. This pick is for the future and not next year. I don't think that he's going to play right away. He's definitely not going to play right away. And I don't think that he's going to produce much this year. That's okay. I think he's an elite talent with elite speed. I think that you're going to see Detroit get a really good quarterback in the coming years, and he's going to be dynamite. He can absolutely take the top off of any defense, and he's a lot more complete than people give him credit for. I'm taking Jameson Williams here.
Yeah, I have him at my 1-4, so he slots in right at this pick right now, and definitely elite talent. I'm not sure when he's going to play his first game. I don't necessarily like the landing spot and the combination with Jared Goff. I think Goff hinders him because he can't throw a deep ball.
But you don't got to worry because Jared Goff won't be the quarterback when he plays.
Yeah. Jared Goff will be moving on then.
Placeholder.
But yeah, it's like I said, the immediate quarterback situation is not ideal, but you're hopefully going to be moving on from that very shortly then.
This is the pick.
This is the pick?
This is the pick right here. 6. I want to know who you're taking.
Did you have a tough time with this one?
I know who I'm taking.
Yeah, I debated for this one quite a while.
Okay.
So, like I said, I like stacking my wide receivers with a quarterback that I can see going a long ways then and being a good combination going forward. I always harken back to the time in my first ever rookie draft in Dynasty, Michael Thomas versus Will Fuller. Will Fuller had some Joe Schmo with the Texans, and Michael Thomas had Drew Brees. And I thought the better talent was Will Fuller,
a.k.a. Chris Olave.
Yeah, so like I said, I ultimately went with Michael Thomas because of Drew Brees' talent, and that's what I'm doing here.
So who's your Michael Thomas?
With pick 1-6. It's definitely not a comp for Michael Thomas, but my Michael Thomas here is Christian Watson. I'm taking Christian Watson of North Dakota State, Packers, round 2.
And this is the point in the draft where I would have slung the keyboard.
Yeah. I love Christian Watson's upside. Like I said, he has to clean up those drops. He has to develop as a route runner, but he is the second fastest guy on the field in this draft class, second only to Jameson Williams. Then he was outstanding. He has all the tools in the world to be a wonderful talent, and he's going to be with Aaron Rodgers for at least the next couple years. Whether it's going to be longer than that, who knows? Who's going to be the quarterback after that? Hopefully not Mr. Love. But I love the talent. I love the pairing here for the next couple years. I'm taking Christian Watson here at 1-6.
Well, I thought I was going to reach and take Christian Watson there.
Oh, you're on the same page then. Okay, I thought you were going to kill me. We're on the same team here.
Nope.
We're drafting the same thing, and I already poo-pooed Kenneth Walker, and then you're going to poo Christian Watson. But good. So the keyboard's not coming at me. It's only coming at me if I'm on another team. Then.
Yeah, there you go. Christian Watson got the best landing spot at the wide receiver position, and he's going to have it for a couple years. You get immediate production, a guy with elite physical traits, and a quarterback that will absolutely just destroy him with volume. He is. I can't argue picking him higher to make sure you get him. I understand the risk.
I was debating with Jameson Williams from that quarterback perspective.
Yep,
but I think the talent's better with Williams. Yeah.
If Watson had a quarterback that maybe didn't have just a couple years, I probably would go ahead and bump him up. But to Christian Watson, I can't make him fall farther than 6. I love the talent, love the landing spot, love the opportunity. He's going to be phenomenal, man. He's going to challenge Treylon Burks for most production this year, and he might beat him. I love that pick.
I think he has some developing to do. I'm not putting him up there as the top producing wide receiver year one.
Aaron Rodgers is not throwing the ball to Randall Cobb every play. This dude's going to have to learn to play today, and he will.
Yeah, he better learn fast because he don't want to get on Aaron Rodgers' bad side.
I think he'll be okay.
You don't want to be the Equanimous St. Brown or who's some other guys that just flop with him. But he's going to have to learn quick. He's going to have to be productive. But I love the upside. This is, I came out of the film study and I was saying, if there's one guy I want to leave the drafts with, that's Christian Watson. Then, because I think his upside could be higher than anyone in this class as far as an overall talent. But we will see. So who are you taking at 1-7 then?
Drake London. I hate the future quarterback that they have there, but this dude's going to be a touchdown red zone monster, and I think he's going to be super safe. I don't think the upside is as high and tremendous as a lot of people do. I think Drake London, for a lot of people, is going 3. I think you'll see that in a lot of drafts. And I'm not that high. I think he's not as complete of a receiver as I want him to be. But this dude is a mean man. It's going to be a you got Moss tape all day long. And you mix him outside with Kyle Pitts, Drake London's he's going to be a special talent. I think he definitely solidified his spot. This is kind of about where we had him pre-draft. With being the first guy off the board. I think other people are going to take him higher than what I am, but I'm pretty thrilled to have him at 7.
Yeah, I had him right at 7 as well then too. I have one wide receiver ahead of him still, but I wasn't enamored with Drake London's talent as a wide receiver. He's not really my type of wide receiver. I think he's more a possession guy as opposed to a dynamic receiver that's going to have a lot of yak then too. So I'm not overly enthralled with getting Drake London, and obviously the quarterback situation is terrible. You have Marcus Mariota, and then you have a guy that we do not like at all, and that's Desmond Ridder as the quarterback waiting in the wings. Then is he really quarterback waiting in the wings? Because he was a third round pick this year. So it's nothing's guaranteed there, but that's the sort of heir apparent at this time. Then. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They're probably going to have the first overall pick or close to it. So they could be getting the top-end quarterback next year then too. But we will see. But as I said, Drake London, the draft capital, he's probably going to be picked higher than this first receiver off the board. So I'm probably not going to have much of him. But like I said, I do see that higher volume type guy. I see the guy that's going to be winning in the red zone, making those contested catches then. So I think he's going to be a steady receiver, but I don't see him being ever the top receiver in this class then. But yeah, it's not a bad pick here at 1-7. The guy I had having it here at 1-8 is the guy I had ahead of him on my board, and I actually had Jahan Dotson out of Penn State going to the Commies, the Commanders, in the first round ahead of him. I actually had him at 1-6 on my board then. I just think Jahan Dotson is a safer play. I think he's going to win on any team, win with any quarterback. He's going to be open. He's an excellent route runner, wonderful hands. Not the biggest guy in the world, obviously, but he has speed, and he's my type of wide receiver then. And is it going to be Carson Wentz here long term? Probably not. I think they drafted Sam Howell in the 5th round then?
Yep.
And I actually liked Sam Howell. He was in that tier 1 with quarterbacks with Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, and those 3 there. So I think Sam Howell's the heir apparent. Then I don't know how he dropped to the 5th round, but I think it's going to be a nice combination. And Sam Howell is a guy that likes to take risk and sort of push the ball downfield and throw a very nice deep ball. So I think it'd be an excellent combination with Jahan Dotson in the future. So I'm taking him. And people are going to be scared off by Jahan Dotson. So I think he's going to fall because he's not the de facto number 1 as a lot of these other guys that you're seeing with Terry McLaurin there with the Commanders. But is Terry McLaurin going to be there long term? A lot of these teams are paying these guys. They're trading them off. And we'll have to see how that works out. But Terry McLaurin's one of the next dominoes to fall. Him with DK Metcalf. And obviously Deebo Samuel out there at the 49ers. But I'm happy with Jahan Dotson here at 1-8. I think it's a steal.
If there was one team that has to pay their guy, because let's be honest, Washington does not have much offensive talent. They're not deep. They've been pretty poor for the last few years. I think he's probably the safest guy to get his money. So I do see Jahan Dotson as their number 2. I do think he's going to have good production, not this year, but maybe in the future. I like the prospects of him with Sam Howell better than Carson Wentz. But he actually bumped farther down my board. He dropped all the way down to 10 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping he drops down on people's boards because
me too. I love him, but
yeah,
I can't pass up on a couple of these guys.
Yep. So who you taking here at 1-9 then?
This is tough. I want to take someone else, so I would trade this pick. But if I was forced into it, I would take the guy with the highest upside for production, and the safer option, and that's Chris Olave. He's the only guy there in New Orleans. I know Michael Thomas is there. I also know Michael Thomas has a significant foot injury, and I've been saying this for the last offseason and a half, that this guy is not going to be able to come back and be the guy he used to be. You're going to see Chris Olave get plenty of volume, and he's going to be a pretty safe option.
Yeah, I have Chris Olave just one slot down at 110. He's got that first-round draft capital. I know we've talked a lot about Michael Thomas's injury. Is it something he can come back from? That's to be seen. I know you're adamant against it, adamant that he's never going to be the same, and I don't think he's ever going to be the same. He's also 29 years old this year, so he's an older wide receiver at that point. So Chris Olave is the future, even without an injury. But I was never a big fan of Chris Olave, and I don't think he's just a sort of a speed route running threat and doesn't really offer much else beyond that. I'm happy with your
that pick is based on the perceived dynasty value right now. If it was a personal pick, I would take the next guy on my board.
Well, it is a personal pick.
No. I'm drafting based on how the value should be. If you had that pick, who should you take to maximize the value? I'm not picking my guys.
We're picking
I'm not picking
our guys.
Hassan Haskins at pick 1-9, okay? I'm not doing that.
Okay, that's just crazy. But
see, there you
go. My pick at 1-9, I actually have him at 1-8, but it's going to be, in our draft here, 1-10, if you can follow that logic there. I'm taking Sky Moore, and that goes with that QB combo.
That's
Patrick Mahomes.
That would have been my personal pick.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, Sky Moore. Juju has a 1-year contract. MVS is just that deep threat. Kelsey is going to be retired at some point. But Patrick Mahomes will be there a while. Sky Moore's going to be there a while. Will they get another guy in the future?
Absolutely. Next year, they're going to take a top-tier wide receiver that can stretch the field and do more. But Sky Moore is going to be a dynamite slot guy for them.
Dynamite slot guy, great off the ball, great hands, has yak ability. I scored him higher than Chris Olave on the film score. And like I said, he's a second-round pick, but I think he has first-round talent. I think he's better than Chris Olave. I think he fits in very nicely here with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So Sky Moore is my pick. Next pick is 111. Scotty's on the clock.
Short and sweet. George Pickens. Sign me up. Done. Yeah.
No analysis?
No, I mean, there needs to be analysis. George Pickens has one of the higher ceilings in the draft class. He went somewhere with now who it's validated too. I thought he was the most ready to play and is a franchise quarterback. And if Mike Tomlin believes that too and takes him in the first round, sign me up. I believe in Kenny Pickett. And George Pickens is the type of receiver that I don't think they have. I'm not a big Claypool fan. I only see him as a field stretcher. Yeah, George Pickens can do that too, but George Pickens can run everything. So I think he's maybe not year one, but by year two he's their number one receiver. I know we're not talking about Deontay Johnson, and for good reason. Deontay Johnson, I've never been high on. Is he their most safe receiver? Yeah, but he's not their most high upside receiver. So give me George Pickens, man. If the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a wide receiver, I don't care what their name is, what round they are, just draft them. They're about as safe as you can get.
Yeah, George Pickens I have at 112, so not too far off here. I thought one of the funniest things personally in the draft was Chase Claypool announcing his replacement for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, that's kind of awkward. But yeah, he's definitely Claypool's replacement. If everything works out as they expect, or if they with this pick they no pun intended there.
Why is he not Deontay Johnson's replacement?
No, he is.
You think they're going to pay Deontay Johnson?
They're different receivers.
I know that.
So Deontay Johnson is the shorter intermediate route runner who can bust off a longer play here and there. But the go deep guy is Claypool, and that's what Pickens is. Pickens is not going to be running these short over the middle routes then that you're seeing Deontay Johnson make. And he's Claypool's replacement. And I think I still think that I've always been a Deontay Johnson lover, and I love what he does for my team. And he finished top 12. He's wide receiver 1 this year, I believe. And I don't think he's getting the same volume he got with Ben Roethlisberger and those short passes, but the volume's still going to be there. He's still going to lead the team in receiving yards and catches this year. But like I said, I think Pickens is a good pick here. I worry about the early opportunities. You have obviously the two established wide receivers there. They brought in Boykins. They also drafted what's his face, Calvin Austin the third. Then, so who gets on the field first? That's going to be obviously two very different guys, 5'9" and 6'4". But there's going to be other mouths to feed then, and then obviously you have Najee Harris taking up a lot of volume then too. So I still think there'd be a run first offense then. But yeah, Pickens is a good pick here. I think he offers a lot of upside then. He's not one of those safer guys then, so I'm not drafting him any higher than this, but not a bad pick. The guy I'm drafting actually ahead of him, and would be my 111, it's going to be 112 here in our draft, is David Bell out of Purdue. I was a David Bell lover as soon as I turned on his first game. I love what he offers, and one of my comps for him was Jarvis Landry. And who's he replacing in Cleveland? Jarvis Landry. So he may be a third-round pick, and you got other guys with better draft capital. But I love the film on David Bell. He's definitely a possession receiver. He's going to be a higher volume guy, but he still offers some run after the catch then, just with his vision and sort of running back skills after the catch then. He's never going to be a big 60, 70-yard receiving chunk receiver there, but I think he's going to have great volume there. You're going to allow Amari Cooper to stretch the field. David Bell going over the middle, going out, making the sideline catches. And no matter what I think of Deshaun Watson as far as a person, he definitely feeds his wide receivers. He supported DeAndre Hopkins, supported Will Fuller in Houston there. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be year one, because I think Watson's going to be suspended for part of the year. But David Bell, and I think I'm one of the higher people on David Bell. And I think I'm going to get him in a lot of my drafts, but I think people need to wake up and read the tea leaves, and David Bell's going to be a very good pick here, and definitely end of the first round is not unreasonable.
Well, you want to hear my thoughts on that pick?
Yeah.
Love it.
Love
it. So here's the deal. If you're watching this draft right now, you probably have already cut it off, because you're like, these dudes are stupid. They're not taking any of these running backs. You got a guy out there who's drafted in the second round to an elite offense. Why are you not taking him? Listen, there's a reason.
You got a Bills homer here too. You got a Bills homer as well.
So I will be fading these other running backs really hard. I think you've got two and that's it. You got a lot of really good options, but I'm not reaching in the first round to take them. Do you want to take Michael Carter? Do you want to take Trey Sermon? That's what you're going to do. I mean, they're not. There's guys here that are better than those two, I think, but that's the quality you're getting. And the truth is, unless you are a piece away, you should, and you're drafting later, if it's not a top tier running back or somebody you really believe in, you should be fading them. I don't take a guy based on need. I take a guy based on value. And with that being said, my next pick is a running back, because all the good wide receivers are gone now. I'd love David Bell at 12. You won't find a draft that somebody takes him in the top 12. I guarantee that. But my next pick, and I thought a lot about this, man. I'm hoping he becomes more than he was in college. I'm taking James Cook. You told me I would do it.
As soon as I watched James Cook, I'm like, this guy's going to really like James Cook. This is his type of running back.
And I don't. He's not a complete running back. He's a receiving back. But maybe with more volume, more opportunities running between the tackles, maybe he'll grow into that and show us something. I don't know. I just know that in Buffalo's offense, he's going to get a ton of passing volume, and he's going to be awesome in that offense. So he's going to get plenty of opportunities to score. I'm taking a flex option here. I'm not taking a running back. I'm taking a flex option, but I think his upside's pretty tremendous, and that here at 2-1, I'm pretty excited to get Mr. Cook.
Yeah, he's a running back that has second-round draft capital, and it's never a bad pick. I actually have him at 2-4, but I have a run of running backs here. No pun intended. Then. And this is where I feel comfortable taking these running backs because none of these guys are – no one's a sure thing, but none of these guys are a sure thing.
No safety here.
So no safety. So
big home run cuts.
I was taking the wide receivers, bar 2 guys in round 1 because I think they're overall safer. But round 2 is when I start taking these running backs, and I have 4 in a row here. But I said I have James Cook at 2-4, but I can see him at 2-1. Like it's not anything against that. And some insight here, I think he is more that third down, almost even a wide receiver. The general manager, when he talked about James Cook, the things he praised the most were his receiving ability, his yards after the catch, something that's going to give Josh Allen, make him work less getting down the field, and splitting that wide then. I think he's going to be using the timeshare with Devin Singletary, sprinkling some Zach Moss, and you're going to see a lot of third down work. The one thing they said he needs to clean up, they recognize this as well, is he needs to have better pass protection. They said that's a big thing he needs to do because if they have to do max protect, they don't want to get Josh Allen killed. So definitely needs to increase that, improve that. But I think if he does that, he could get a lot of volume in the receiving game and some sprinkling and some carries. But I don't think he's ever going to be that first or second down high volume back by any means. But could he get 10 carries a game? Maybe. Could he be that Alvin Kamara that we're looking at? I don't think he's Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara was thought to be more of a receiving back, and he turned that into a very nice career and an all-star, superstar fantasy Hall of Famer then. And but yeah, James Cook, I hope he's more than that third down back. But that's why I see him more at this point. I think Alvin Kamara is a little bit thicker and can run better between the tackles, but not a bad pick here at 2-1. So the guy I would do at 2-1, but 2-2 in our draft is a 4th rounder. And I'm taking Dameon Pierce out of Florida.
Yep.
To the Texans. I think that offers the clearest path to being the guy. And I know you Marlon Mack fans out there, and I can't stand it on the sleeper. How does this affect Marlon Mack? This definitely affects Marlon Mack. I think Dameon Pierce is a better running back. I think he was used inappropriately at Florida, never got the volume. He's not afraid of contact. He has decent speed. He has pass catching ability. He is tough as can be.
And they're going to need him. He's going to need the volume.
He's going to need the volume. And I think he is the guy there going forward. Obviously, could this just be a wasted pick and just burn it? But I think a lot of these picks in this draft could be wasted picks and just burn them. But I like Dameon Pierce, and I think it's one. And we said the Texans were one of the more ideal landing spots as far as just early production, early volume, early opportunity. And like I said, I liked Dameon Pierce. He got pretty high scores on my film study, so I'm putting those two together, and I'm putting him here at the 2-2.
Yeah, so you'll be getting our Supreme draft scores here in a few weeks after we get some of our personal drafts done, getting them up on the site. But the thing about this section, because good landing spots and then others not so great landing spots, there's about 6 guys here with that are separated by 1 point. And so it is super razor thin, the margin of all these guys. So I put them in order of who gives me the best safety and opportunity to hit on. And so I'm really interested to see how our order of these running backs go, because I feel like this second round here is the running back draft. I'm what, 2-3?
I had 4 in a row to start the second round.
So 2-3 here. I'm bringing a guy way up my board. I'm taking Tyler Algier.
Okay, yep.
Atlanta is a super safe landing spot, and this guy has the talent to fit that role that they need. This is the role that everyone wanted Mike Davis to have that he couldn't do. Cordarrelle Patterson is not going to get back there and run the ball. They didn't have anybody that could do it last year. This dude can run between the tackles today in the NFL. He will absolutely be a very good running back option. And if you're getting him here, I think he is one of the safest running back picks in this draft. Does he have a high ceiling? No. I think he's going to probably be at RB3 on your team long term. But he is a safe RB3 with upside if the offense improves and he gets some touchdowns. And guess what? This dude can run at the goal line. So give me Tyler Algier.
He's not on my top 4 in the second round, but he easily could be there.
Yep.
Like I said, it's razor thin. I actually had him at 2.9, but honestly, I want to bump him up more. It's the same argument I made with Dameon Pierce. I gave Tyler Algier a good score. He's not dynamic, but he's very good between tackles. He's a very physical guy. He's a goal line beast. And opportunity there in Atlanta. He's not going to be the third down back. You're going to have Cordarrelle Patterson obviously being that. But he is – that path to playing time is there.
I think he gets the lion's share of the carries.
Yeah, the reason why I put him lower is it's more that 5th round pick. It's usually
the draft capital.
That draft capital being that 4th round pick. So that's what probably bumped him down, just that slight bit, didn't put him with this group here. But I agree with you. It's opportunities there. He's not getting out of the second round in my drafts by any means, because I think he's a very safe pick. And I don't know where he's going in rookie drafts right now. As far as sleeper, as ADP.
Yeah, I'm probably got him bumped up too high, but I think by the time you do your drafts, he'll probably be pretty close.
Yeah, I think he's probably ADP-wise, he's probably in that 3rd, 4th round right now, but I see that second round potential. Like I said, good pick. And same argument with Dameon Pierce. But the guy I actually have here or my next guy that's going to be at 2-4 here is Zamir White. So 4th round draft capital. I gave him a higher film score, and he was in that second tier of running backs for me in film score. So that's why I have him bumped up higher here. And I know you're saying, oh, Josh Jacobs is there. Not for long. Raiders declined Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option. So Josh Jacobs is there for 1 more year, guaranteed. Obviously, can be re-signed. Like I said, any of these picks you could light them on fire and they could be gone in an instant.
Yeah, did you forget about Kenyon Drake?
Oh,
is he going to take his carries?
Forget Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, but he's going to take carries.
He's going to take carries. But Zamir White, I feel, is a better between the tackles runner than Kenyon Drake.
I agree,
easily.
But do you think he's going to get the volume year 1 to make you happy with keeping him? He's a long-term pick for me.
Possibly. And Jacobs gets hurt a lot then too. And we know the new coaching staff loves to run multiple backs then too. New England, is this going to be a backfield of hell like New England? Who really knows? But I think Zamir White is at least the safest option going forward in that backfield. I think Josh Jacobs offers the highest ceiling this year, but is he going to be there long term? They have no investment in him. This new GM, this new coaching staff, and obviously they didn't feel too highly of him to keep him for that 5th year. So I love Zamir White here going forward. Then I had him as high on my board at 2-2 here, but at 2-4, like I said, I love the player. I think he, in the combine, or not the combine, the combine during the drills, he looked like a decent pass catcher then too. Didn't show much of that at Georgia because they had a superior pass catching back there, James Cook. But I think he could do some of that in the NFL then too. So I love Zamir White. He has uber athletic talent then, power, speed. So I'm taking him here at 2-4. And I actually debated about sneaking him in my first round. I actually pre-draft had him in my first round, and I debated about sneaking him ahead of Dameon Pierce, but I gave Pierce just the little bump because he had that more clear picture.
Man, I hope there's a lot of people that think like you. You are that pick is so highly graded on Josh Jacobs not being there, and that's the biggest risk you could ever take.
Well, I think a lot of these guys, it's all great on that. I'll discuss
I agree with that.
Multiple guys with that. But
who
do you have at 2-5?
Well, I have Zamir White down at the 11th pick here in the second. So I like him. I'm still believe Josh Jacobs is going to be the guy, and I don't think that. I think this new coaching staff just wants to see him prove it, and I'm hoping they use him more in that sort of 3-down running back role. We'll see, but I could see him re-signing there. I could. We'll see how it goes. Next guy on the board for me.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Nope. I was not the biggest fan of this landing spot. So it's a little high for me, but I'm taking Trey McBride. I think in 2 years, he has the ability to be an elite tight end, a top 3 tight end in the league if Kyler Murray continues to take that step forward and this offense continues to be dynamic. I think Ertz will get the lion's share this year. But I think this is more of a year 2 pick, and I think Ertz probably will be sort of fading down. Maybe even at the end of this year, he'll be fading down. We don't know. But I like Trey McBride a lot, and here's the spot for me to take him.
I have Trey McBride out of my top 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's because you just don't like tight ends.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think talent-wise, he's a top 2 round pick.
I trust him.
Second round pick talent-wise.
I trust him.
Yeah, but as far as what I'm going to do with Trey McBride, I'm going to let someone else draft him, and then I'm going to trade for him at the end of his first year. That's what I'm doing.
That's a totally fine strategy.
Because Zach Ertz is going to get the lion's share. Zach Ertz is there for 2 years as far as the contract. And is Trey McBride a good candidate to bust out in his 3rd year, even the 2nd year? Definitely. So I'm saying I'm allowing people to draft Trey McBride, our number 1 tight end by far in this class. I'm allowing other people to draft him, and I'm trading for him next year. This time next offseason, when there's this draft fever, you can trade draft picks that you don't necessarily want and get Trey McBride. Bada bing, bada boom, you got your tight end. But is he worthy as far as talent-wise to be a 2nd-round pick? Yes. I'm not going to argue with that. But that's we discussed my tight end strategy many times on the show. But the guy I'm taking here then at 2-6. So like I said, I have another running back, and that's Isaiah Spiller, Texas A&M. I had him in my 2nd-tier running back, same as Zamir White. Isaiah Spiller is my 2nd overall, or my 3rd overall running back behind Walker and Hall then. And you say, oh, boy, he got Austin Eckler ahead of him. He's with the Chargers. He get only 4th-round draft capital. But 4th-round draft capital is not bad. Like I said, I thought his skills were there. He doesn't have the long speed. That's the biggest knock on him. That's what caused him to drop to the 4th round. But I think he's one of the more shiftiest backs in the league then, or in this draft class, and makes very good decisions. And he has more of that power. I think he's going to be more of that goal line back for the Chargers here in the 1st year. And Austin Eckler's getting up there in age. He's not going to be there forever. And I think we're going to see early production for Isaiah Spiller here, enough to keep you happy. And even offer trade value if you want to re-up him then, or take advantage of that in this offseason next year. But Austin Eckler can actually be moved on from very easily after this year if things don't go right for him. They can save $6 million to the cap then and easily have an out this year. And then as far as his total contract, he just has 2 years left. But I see Isaiah Spiller having a path to production because we've seen two backs used there year in and year out with Austin Eckler. And they don't want to give Austin Eckler this huge workload, especially that they gave him last year because he got burnt out at the end of the season, sort of looked like. And I think Isaiah Spiller is that change of pace back and a guy that's going to get a goal line opportunity as well then too to have early production. So I'm taking Isaiah Spiller here at 2.6. I think it's a very easy pick. I know Sky's not the biggest fan of Isaiah Spiller, but I don't know if you see that path like I do as well.
I do. I don't like Spiller at all, but you can't ignore the opportunity. And it's there. I agree with every word that you said. I do have a guy ahead of him, but I absolutely think Spiller would have been the guy after the guy I'm going to take here at 2.7. I'm taking Hassan Haskins. Enough of this letting him fall. I can't do it. This guy, I loved his tape. Maybe I'm the only one out there loving his tape, but the guy got some draft capital. He got good draft capital. And Tennessee just did something I never expected they would do. They just traded A.J. Brown. Not only that, they just drafted Malik Willis. Are they rebuilding? Are they going to tear it down? Are they going to get out of Derrick Henry's contract in a year or so? Are they going to? Is Derrick Henry going to be healthy with all this volume and all these hits he's taken for over another year? I don't know. I would love to have the backup running back in this offense. So you got a guy that I loved pre-draft that fits their running scheme, and he's at worst their backup running back. They got nothing else on the roster. He's going to get some volume. They're not, especially during the year, they're not going to run Derrick Henry in the ground like they've done in years past. So, oh man, I'm hoping Hassan Haskins is here. I'm hoping that a lot of people aren't taking him, and he's fallen because his ADP right now is really low because of the way the pre-draft process was, but it won't stay there. Give me Hassan Haskins, and I'm going home.
Yeah, you're definitely were the bigger lover of Hassan Haskins. I saw him very similar to, say, Brian Robinson, similar players as far as a bigger build, more power back then, limited PPR work then. I actually have him out of the second round here, but he could easily sneak up there. And I did my draft here before I did my more thorough research as far as contracts, and they can easily get out of Derrick Henry's contract after this year. So they can save $12 million to the cap next year.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If they're getting rid of Tannehill, which I'm pretty sure they can also get out of next year, that lines up pretty good. And there's one thing that Tennessee you can rely on. They will build it up and they will tear it down. As a Tennessee fan, you usually get a year or two of we got a chance to win, and then we suck. So I think we're getting ready to see a Tennessee rebuild here, and I'm loving the prospects of Hassan Haskins.
Yeah, and I think with Malik Willis, obviously didn't get the draft capital anyone thought he would that first round. So it's not guaranteed it's going to be Malik Willis, but they saw that Tannehill can get them to the playoffs, get them the number one seed, but probably not the guy that's going to take him to the Super Bowl, the promised land.
There is no way Malik Willis will not be successful in the NFL. Not right away. He needs some grooming. That's why a year or two is great to have Tannehill to play behind. This guy's the best person in the room. And those guys will show up every day, will work the hardest, and will grow. And I'm full steam ahead with Malik Willis. Love him.
Yeah, so, and like I said, if they tear it down, they're not going to be paying Derrick Henry the money he is and risking a better draft pick. And it's Hassan Haskins, Derrick Henry, by no means is even close to that. But I think he offers value here. Will he be replaced if Derrick Henry gets cut by another running back? Very possible, but it's not an awful pick here. Like I said, I have him out of my second round, but I'm not going to bust Scotty's balls for taking his guy. I took my guy, Zamir White, up at the top of the second here. I know we called dibs, so I'll have White, you have Haskins.
Yep.
But so here at 2-8, I'm going back to the wide receivers. I'm going to take Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. He got second-round draft capital with the Colts. They have a very obvious need for a number 2 wide receiver behind Michael Pittman. I think he's a guy that can stretch the field. He has very good athletic profile and sort of your relative athletic score then. And like I said, that draft capital, you can't ignore it. And is he going to be there with Matt Ryan for multiple years? Probably not. Let's see who the quarterback is going forward. It seems like the Indianapolis Colts like to change it up every year. We had Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers. Actually, we had Andrew Luck, I think Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and now we got Matt Ryan. So we'll have to see who the quarterback is in 2023. But I think Alec Pierce is a fairly good value. I had him up at my 2-5 spot, but at 2-8 here, I'm ecstatic to take Pierce.
So at 2-9, I'm going to draft this guy, and I'm going to trade this guy. I don't want him on my team. I have no love of him, but the value is the value is the value.
You're going
Give me
Mechie,
Rashad. Give me Rashad White.
No, Rashad. Oh, I thought you were going Mechie.
No, give me Rashad White. It's Rashad White, I know, but we've got a little thing going here.
He is Rashad on this podcast. He is Rashad.
If, big if, Leonard Fournette is not the guy going forward, and Tom Brady's gone, and they start rebuilding, maybe he's the guy. Maybe we see Fournette not get as much volume this year, and Rashad White gets more. I don't know. I'm just not enamored by him as a running back. I think he sucks, but the value is the value, and other people don't think that. Other people love this guy. They love his running style. I don't think it will translate, but other people do. I guarantee you, one, that he's probably already picked in every draft. But I guarantee you that after the draft, if I wanted to trade this dude, I'd have no problem getting my value back or getting another young guy that I like. So this would be a pick I'd be trading probably, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take him.
Yeah, I actually have him here at 2-9 on my board as well. I like the player. I think he's solid. I don't think he's great at anything, but he's solid. He got third-round draft capital as running back, goes to a very good offense. The problem is Leonard Fournette is there for 2 years based on his contract. The out is in 2024. So it's not going to be a clear path to success. And I think Rashad is actually an older running back. I think he's like 23, if I remember correctly. And I like my running backs younger, and especially if you're going to be sidelined or at least sharing the load with a superior back, which is Leonard Fournette for the next 2 years at least. That's going to drop you down the draft board here some. But I think that talent is there. And like I said, that draft capital is there. And that offense is there. So if Fournette gets hurt, Rashad could have immediate value. So he's going to be a second-round pick. But yes, I'm not putting him there at the top of the second round, or that later second round. But at 2-10, so I'm actually taking your guy. I'm taking Jalen Tolbert. I know you liked him.
Yep.
I liked him too, but I think you liked him a lot, not a lot more, but you had a higher score on him than I did. Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver, South Alabama, going to the Cowboys in the third round.
Fills a perfect position.
And he's a chance to produce early. They lost a lot of wide receivers. Amari Cooper going to the Browns, being traded there. They lost Cedric Wilson. And you have Michael Gallup getting signed to a bigger deal, but he's coming back from an ACL tear happened later in the season then as well. So I think Tolbert, if he learns the playbook, gets up to speed quickly, he can produce right away then. And they show that they can support 3 wide receivers in this offense and even a tight end. So and with Zeke Elliott on the downside of his career, I think they're going to be a passing offense. And like I said, I like teaming up my wide receivers with a established, solid quarterback, and Dak Prescott's that. So I like Jalen Tolbert going forward here, and I think he offers that sort of complete package, does everything very well then, and he has fairly decent draft capital. So 210 steal. I have actually 2.6 on my draft board.
Poor Michael Gallup. They went and drafted a guy that does everything better sort of in that short, intermediate area than he can. So Gallup again becomes just the downfield guy. It stinks for him. I think Tolbert he's going to end up being the number 2 volume guy in this offense by year's end. And, geez, I love him. I think that he's a guy that people are going to take here in the second round, and then at the end of the year they're going to be like, oh my goodness, he's a first round pick. I guarantee when we do our redraft, he is easily a first round pick for us. So I'm excited about him. Big upside. I can guarantee you one thing: the ADP on Sleeper probably, I don't know if they got this guy in the second round yet. So we'll see. He's been moving.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't take him before me. I thought for sure.
I like him a lot, but I'm looking for those home run running backs here because they're here, and there's a couple big swings you could take.
So who do you got at 211?
Well, Tolbert's gone, so there's that. He was the next guy on my board. This sucks. I'm taking John Mechie.
Yeah,
this
got
is
Richard and Mechie.
Back-to-back crap picks right here. No, John Mechie, he's the number 2 guy in Houston. Day 1, I'm hoping he's better than I give him credit for. And we'll see. I think obviously they need a quarterback, and I'm hoping it comes next year. But Brandon Cooks is going to be the target hog, especially with Davis Mills there. It seemed last year that Davis Mills could only throw to Brandon Cooks, and I absolutely love that since Brandon Cooks is like on every team I have. But this dude, he's going to get his. He's not ready to play today. I think they're going to ease him in throughout the year because they're going to be a bad team, and he's not going to play as many snaps. But John Mechie is a very sort of safe pick to get here at the back end of the second. And especially when you're drafting this range, offers some pretty good upside for this range.
Yeah, I like Mechie. I liked his film. I thought he was a very safe wide receiver. And with this getting the second round draft capital with the Texans, early opportunity, he's going to have to go out there and compete with Nico Collins then. But I think they offer different skill sets.
Definitely.
So is Nico Collins going to be more that outside alpha type receiver, and Mechie's going to be more that slot receiver? I can see them be on the field at the same time with Cooks then.
Yep.
So I think this definitely improves the offense for the Texans then, and I think both guys can actually thrive. So, like I said, Mechie's an easy draft pick here at 211. So at 212, I'm going to get the first quarterback off the board here, and the only quarterback that should be drafted anywhere high. Not even high, but in the second round, and that's Kenny Pickett. So he's the only first-round quarterback. No second-round quarterbacks as well then too. But Kenny Pickett, I think he's the most NFL-ready quarterback. He could challenge to start week 1. Do I think he's going to start week 1? I think they're going to give Mitch the starting nod. But
there's no way in heck Kenny Pickett doesn't start the year. If Mike Tomlin,
I would make a substantial bet on that one.
Okay, Stella. Mike Tomlin.
Add to the tab of ones you owe me.
Well, if Mike Tomlin thinks this guy is good enough to be a first-round pick, I believe in him. And with all these weapons around him, sign me up.
Yeah, but I think Kenny Pickett's a good, solid pick here for your, especially quarterback needy teams or need that. I don't think he's going to be necessarily that guy you can rely on anytime soon as far as your number one, but maybe as a backup quarterback for your fantasy team, not a bad play, especially the value here at 212.
Yeah, just to close up the draft here, the good thing that happened is you saw a lot of guys that were sort of lower down the board on our pre-draft rankings that got good landing spots and increased the depth of this class. Because if it hadn't, like I'm thrilled with the top 24 picks here. I was not thrilled with the top 24 picks last year. So I think there's still a couple good names of guys you can target and take flyers on that's going to be really good. So I think this draft goes through the third round into at least half of it with some really good flyers. So I think this draft ultimately became pretty deep. It just definitely does not have the top tier talent at the top that you expect. So there's every position has a question mark, even Breece Hall. So that's the tough part.
Yeah, it's not the high end talent, but there's sort of safer guys, and hopefully the guys just bust out then. But is there any guys that you had in your top 24 that didn't make our mock draft here? I had two.
No, this is my top 2 rounds here, but there's the next few guys on my board. Ty Chandler, loved him pre-draft, and Madison is gone after this year, so I think he's going to really be dynamite, especially if Cook can't get healthy or gets the injury bug. Man, Ty Chandler's a home run swing. Jelani Woods, loved him. He's a freak athlete, great landing spot. Great landing spot there in Indianapolis. And then receiver-wise, man, there's a couple good names. Shakir in Buffalo, Dubs in Green Bay, and Wan'Dale Robinson with all that draft capital. Should we be loving him? If Tony was gone, I might love him a little more.
Yeah, so I actually had Shakir at 211, and I had Wan'Dale Robinson at 212.
Yep, I think those are awesome guys. And as you can tell, there's a couple other names of nice little dart throws out there.
Yeah, but as far as Shakir, though, Shakir, he's a 5th-round draft capital, but I think he fits in very nicely with the Bills' offense. He could be that slot guy, and that's the way they talked about him. And we know the slot guy gets peppered a lot then, so he could put up Cole Beasley numbers. He could put up Emmanuel Sanders type numbers. He could put up he could be a wide receiver 3 in the short future then. And we like his talent going forward. He was one of those guys that I didn't like the first time I saw him, but then as you watch more and more film, he grew on you. And I'm glad he grew on me, because if I didn't like him totally, I would have been very, I would say, mad about a 5th-round pick. But I think he offers a very good upside, and he's in a high-powered offense. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, that 2nd-round draft capital. And is he going to actually be that Isaiah McKenzie, that dynamic player for Brian Dable in the Giants? I thought it was going to be Kadarius Toney, and he's going to have this super role, but it's the Kadarius Toney love is not there for the new GM and coaching staff there. So definitely got to pay attention to Wan'Dale Robinson. Oh, and the final thoughts here. Another guy I forgot to mention here is Brian Robinson Jr. out of Alabama, 3rd-round draft capital at running back. I don't know what Washington's doing.
I know what
Antonio
they're doing.
Gibson's there for another 2 years, but are they looking for more of a compliment back, more of a power back? But Gibson's good at that too.
Gibson was hurt, and they realized we got to share the load. We got to be more. He's not a 3-down guy, but so that's why they brought McKissick back.
McKissick doing
to catch
that
for 3rd down.
So I worry about. I'm not putting Brian Robinson Jr. in that. And I didn't necessarily love his film. I thought he's more of a product of the system, being Alabama, and the holes were 10 by 10.
If Robinson gets the Patterson role, he is a huge thorn in Gibson's side. And with McKissick, it really cuts his ceiling down. Do I think Robinson standalone is going to be a great value? I don't think so. And he's an older guy too, but he's a he's a good guy to draft and flip.
Yeah, I think he's a great flip and a guy that you can sort of use to your advantage. Then I don't want to have Brian Robinson on my team then. And then the other guy that got great draft capital, pretty surprising, Tyquan Thornton,
yep,
out of Baylor, second round draft capital of the Pats. I think he's a good guy to flip as well. I actually liked his film. I thought he was more of a deep threat and had pretty good hands, but I don't think it meshes well with the current quarterback in New England. Yeah, I can't wait to do the Superflex mock draft. I don't know if it's going to change too much with these quarterbacks, but you could sneak some of those, at least the two guys that we liked, maybe into that second round. And obviously, Kenny Pickett's going to get a big bump there. And then we'll also talk more about the individual positions then, more in depth than we did here. What to watch for, some sleepers then as well. But I can't wait to dive into it. And then as always, check out the YouTube channel then, the Dynasty Interview. Check out the Twitter handle at the DYN Interview. Check out the website, www.thedynastyinterview.com. And we're going to show the player profiles going up, have our film score, our non-film score, and our total score to give you a complete picture of these guys and where they fall on our boards then.
And rankings will be up a little bit later. We have too many drafts going on the next couple weeks that we don't want to mess up. But those will be going up. We don't want to give away
our rankings either, do we?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we got, and I think that's all we have for you today. So this is Joseph Adrian signing off,
and this is Scott Martin, and you just listened to the Dynasty Interview Fantasy Football Podcast.